Let's face it, the brain is a pretty complex, amazing, and basically the celebrity organ of the whole entire body, but it's nothing without a support team and backup singers, which is the nervous system. The nervous system is broken down into two other systems, the central and the peripheral nervous system. First, let's talk about the central nervous system. The central nervous system, or CNS, consists of the brain and spinal cord. It receives and processes sensory information sent by organs. After the information is processed, a task is sent back to the organs for them to perform in response to the information sent. The brain is an organ made up of soft nervous tissue that is located in the skull. It is the control center of sensations, intellectual, and nervous activity. The spinal cord is a long, thin, tubular bundle of nervous tissue and support cells that extends from the medulla oblongata, or the base of the brainstem, to the lumbar region of the spine. The spinal cord is divided up into 4 divisions: the cervical, the thoracic, lumbar, and sacral divisions. The cervical division includes organs such as biceps, heart, and/or lungs. Its function is to help with breathing, heart rate, and hand movements. The thoracic division includes the liver and/or rectus abdominis, or better known as abdominals or abs. Its function is ejaculation and sympathetic tone. Sympathetic tone is the condition of a muscle when the tone is maintained mostly by the impulses from the sympathetic nervous system. The lumbar division includes the knee and/or intestines. Its function is hip motions, knee extensions, and foot motions. And finally, the sacral division. This division includes the gluteus maximus, or is better known as the butt. Its function is sexual function and bowel/bladder activity. Now we can talk about one of the most complex systems in your body, the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is a nervous system that sends signals to the brain about the outside environment and allows it to respond. Without this, we wouldn't be aware of what's happening around us. Within this system are afferent or sensory neurons and efferent or motor neurons. Afferent neurons receive messages, which is sensory information. Efferent neurons send messages out, which are the responses. The efferent neurons are separated into 2 more systems, the somatic and autonomic nervous system. The somatic nervous system controls the actions that we can control, which are voluntary actions. The various skeletal muscles are the effector organs for this system. An effector organ is a muscle or gland which has an effect when it is turned on by a motor neuron. When a nerve impulse is sent from the sensory somatic nervous system, it excites muscles. The autonomic nervous system, on the other hand, controls the actions that we don't have control over, or the involuntary actions, such as heartbeat, breathing, and blinking. The effector organs for this system are cardiac and smooth muscles, which is found in the heart and intestines. Also, blood vessels and glands. When a nerve impulse is sent from the autonomic nerve system, it can either excite or inhibit muscles. I know you're probably wondering, what is a nerve impulse? Well, nerve impulses are signals transferred along nerve fibers, which could be sensory information, different messages, etc. A nerve impulse sent from a different nervous system enters a different organ through a different pathway than another nervous system, but a different pathway doesn't always change the message being delivered. It is the neurotransmitter used by each system that explains the different reactions of the organs. A neurotransmitter is a chemical that transfers the nerve impulses from the axon, which is a thread-like structure that impulses travel along, and that connects the cell body to the nerve fibers at the end of one neuron to the dendrites, which are tree-like structures that branch out from the cell body. Anyways, back to the nervous systems. The autonomic nervous system is divided into 2 other systems, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. The sympathetic nervous system prepares your body for action, or is simplified as the fight or flight response. The parasympathetic nervous system brings your body back to homeostasis, or balance. Thanks to your sympathetic nervous system, whenever you feel a sensation or are in an environment where it feels you are in danger, your pupils may dilate to take in more information or light, your heart rate may increase, your blood vessels constrict to increase blood pressure, and your sweat glands stimulate secretion. After you have gotten out of whatever dangerous situation you were in, your parasympathetic nervous system brings your body back to homeostasis by constricting your pupils, decreasing your heart rate, dilating your blood vessels so that your blood pressure goes down. The nerve pathways of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems consist of one group of sensory neurons and two groups of motor neurons, with a set of ganglia lying between the motor neurons. Ganglia are clusters of various cell bodies in the peripheral nervous system. In the sympathetic nervous system, the ganglia are grouped in a long chain just outside the spinal cord. When the ganglia receive the right emergency impulse from the spinal cord, the whole body reacts, all the organs on alert and ready at the same time. In the parasympathetic nervous system, the ganglia are located in groups along certain cranial nerves. The most distant cranial ganglion is referred to as the vagus nerve. This specific ganglion transfers impulses to the heart, lungs, digestive tract, liver, and bladder. Since the parasympathetic response is meant to bring the body back to homeostasis, it is only specifically targeted towards certain tissues and organs. It does not affect the whole body at once. The first set of motor neurons sit in the central nervous system. They are called preganglionic motor neurons because they come before the ganglia in the nerve pathway. The nerve fibers extend into the ganglia of the peripheral nervous system. The second set of motor neurons is called the postganglionic motor neurons because they come after the ganglia in the nerve pathway. It is extended from the ganglia to the body organs. In the sympathetic nervous system, postganglionic motor neurons release the neurotransmitter norepinephrine. The effect of norepinephrine depends on the tissue. It can either excite or inhibit organ functions. In the parasympathetic nervous system, the postganglionic motor neurons release the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. Acetylcholine usually excites organ functions because it is attempting to bring these organs back to homeostasis after an emergency. The exception to this rule is the cardiac muscle. It slows the heart rate down after a crisis instead of speeding it up. An outside source stimulates the stimuli. The information goes from the stimulus to the sensory neurons. The sensory neurons receive information and send it to the inner neurons. The nerve fibers from the inner neurons go into the preganglionic motor neurons, which are located in the central nervous system. It goes to the ganglia, which are located in the peripheral nervous system, and it releases acetylcholine, which stimulates the other end, which is the postganglionic motor neurons. The postganglionic motor neurons release norepinephrine, which stimulates or excites the body's organ to carry out its action. Now you see that the brain isn't a celebrity on its own. It has backup singers and a support team right behind it. The nervous system is one of the most complex systems in your body. It makes sure that your body is alert and on guard at all times.